Hello friends, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about what exactly a reprobate mind is. I have had so many people messaging me lately asking about it and commenting on a video I had done 3 or 4 years ago on my other YouTube channel. And that is educating people on reactive attachment disorder. If you're curious about that channel, go ahead and go check it out. I haven't actually posted anything on there for a couple years, but it is Life as a Rad Mom. Rad stands for Reactive Attachment Disorder. And it actually does go with the topic that we're talking about. Reactive attachment disorder is the pandemic of the end times that nobody even recognizes. It is so widespread and such a root issue in today's society. It's overwhelming how much it's integrated into society today, and it gets worse with each generation. So if you're curious about that, go check that out. We're actually going to go over what exactly a reprobate is. The Bible actually talks about it in 2 different places. That is 2 Timothy, and I believe it's chapter 3, and then also in Romans 1. So we're going to actually go through Romans 1 real quick, and I've got some video I'm going to show you, and yeah, we'll just go through the definition according to Romans real quick. The Bible verse is 1:28 through 32. And it says, "And even as they did not like to retain God and their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind, to do those things which are not convenient, being filled with all." And then it goes through a diverse list of symptoms. And that's what we're going to call them, is symptoms. Symptoms of the end times person. So just real quick, like I said before, these symptoms are very closely related to reactive attachment disorder or attachment disorder, and that's why I brought that up. We're just going to go through these really, really quick. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. I'm just going to give you the dictionary's definition and explain a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and look at some video. So, unrighteousness, that is failure to adhere to moral principles not in accordance with what is right or just or fair. So real quick, it said failure to adhere to moral principles. Morals are just clearly a person's standards of behavior or beliefs concerning acceptable or unacceptable behavior. So it is an individual view of what is acceptable in society and what is not. So that is a person's moral compass. Next is fornication, and we know that means a sexual relationship between 2 people who are not married. Wickedness is listed. That is somebody who is evil or morally wrong. So morally wrong is listed under the definition of wickedness. Covetous, that is a strong desire for material possessions, usually belonging to another person. So it is for material possessions, things. Maliciousness, that is somebody who intends or intended to do harm. They desire to do harm to others. They love to make trouble and enjoy hurting and even embarrassing other people. They are just a malicious personality. And envy is listed next. So the Bible actually lists covetous and envy. Most people use covetous, envy, and jealousy interchangeably. But clearly, if the Bible is listing them individually, they are 2 separate things. And covetous is more material possessions and things, and envy is more like they're envious of a person, their looks, maybe their weight, maybe their lifestyle, or their skills, or their likability, their talents. They're jealous of the person themselves. Next is murder, and we know that that means to unlawfully kill another human being. And I would even go as far to say, you know how the Bible says that to look at a woman with lust is to commit adultery with her in your heart. A lot happens in a person's mind. And that Joyce Myers wrote a book, Battlefield of the Mind, because that is where it all starts. So to me, murder would include a person's reputation or their credibility, because if you, especially if you're a Christian and you are trying to witness to others and your reputation is being dragged through the mud, you've been gossiped about, slandered, talked about behind your back, that is murdering your reputation. It's murdering your credibility as a witness. So debate is next. That is to argue or oppose in verbal exchange and usually in a formal manner. Deceit, hiding or concealing the truth or misrepresenting the truth in trickery in words or actions. So how many of those people do we know that are really good at putting on the victim mask or the I'm innocent mask, and the other person did this or that, and they might not even say anything. It's just the expression that they give, the looks that they give, the behavior that they're showing that gives an impression. That is deceit. Malignity is next, and that is a character of being or having intense ill will, spiteful, malicious, malicious in nature, as their nature there. Hatred is persistent, and their desire is to harm others. So malignity is actually so vicious, it is used to describe a type of cancer that is just relentless, and it has one objective, and that is to the death. And that is describing a personality type according to the Bible. Next is whisperer. And yes, that is actually listed as a symptom. And that is a person who is skillful in words, soft or gentle speech, body language, hinting, a secretly expressed belief, rumor, gossiper, slanderer. So again, somebody who is just really good at manipulating. Backbiter, we know what that means, to attack the character or reputation of another person who is not present. Hater of God is listed. People who reject or totally turn against the Lord or what he asks of us in his word and his people. So we can see that everywhere right now. And the last couple of years, that has just really exploded. It seems like everything is being blamed on Christians right now. So despiteful is next, motivated by spite to hurt another, hateful, vindictive, looking for occasion for resentment. Proud is next. That is somebody who has a high opinion of oneself, that they're arrogant, self-promoting, and lifting up. And we see pride everywhere. It's literally plastered everywhere. Boasters, that goes right up there with pride. Somebody's proud, they're going to be conceited and self-centered and admiring themselves, and a bragger or an egoist, or another word would be a narcissist. So inventors of evil things. Evil people think of ways to bring more evil into the world. So, and I do have some video clip that I want to show you about that. So disobedient to parents, and that is refusing to obey or follow rules or direction from parental authority. So again, this goes back to attachment disorder. These kids are the extreme word of extreme in disobedient. Yeah, I don't want to get into it. It's too much to explain, but I will say the Bible tells us children, obey your parents. It does not say adults, obey your parents. It says children, obey your parents. It tells adults to honor our mother and father. So that is telling us very clearly that children, their mindset is going to be involved in the end times person. Without understanding is next. Foolish, without comprehension, failing to put facts together, unwilling to use good reason, illogical, unable to reach a necessary conclusion, unintelligent by implication. So again, if you look up attachment disorder symptoms, covenant breakers, that is people causing division between two parties whom have taken an oath or promise, taking a vow and not following through. So literally, you can see this all over America right now. There is so much division. It is unbelievable. It seems like as soon as things start settling down, there's something else thrown on the news to cause more division. It's just constant division. And what the Bible says about that is a house divided cannot stand. So what is happening in America? Next is without natural affection. The actual Greek word used in the Bible verse is stargio. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but it is the word for love used for parents and children, family relation. So again, this goes back to reactive attachment disorder. That is literally what reactive attachment disorder is. It is a disconnect between and no bond between mother and child. Like I've said before, it's too much to explain on here. I do have videos on the other channel that I explain what it is, how it develops, how to deal with it. And just real quick on that, if you are a parent of a child with reactive attachment disorder and you are looking for help in any way, please feel free to contact me on Instagram. I'd be happy to talk with you. You can find me under my name, Tina Golick. Implacable is next on the list, and that's kind of one of those words we don't hear in society today. So what exactly does that mean? It means a person who is unappeasable, unforgiving, unsparing, relentless, or unstoppable in anger, non-stop aggression towards another, unforgiving, unable to be appeased, and holding a grudge. Didn't that just describe more than half of America right now? Unmerciful is next, and that means cruel or harsh, relentless, severe cruelty, extreme or excessive, showing no mercy. And that concludes the list of symptoms given in Romans. So like I said, there are more symptoms in 2 Timothy. I want to say it's chapter 3, and we can do a separate video on that if you'd like. This personality type that Romans is describing to us is as a whole. It is somebody who has heard the truth, they have rejected the truth, and replaced it with their own version of the truth. So have you ever known somebody who told a lie, and maybe it was an obvious lie, maybe nobody even knows it was a lie, but they stick with that lie for so long and they tell that lie so many times that they actually begin to believe it? That is kind of what this is talking about. Somebody who knows the truth, they have rejected it, they know right from wrong, and maybe when they first started doing some of the things that they're doing in their life, they knew it was wrong. I remember years ago watching a documentary on Jeffrey Dahmer. I think a reporter was interviewing him, and he had said that he knew that it was wrong. And the first time that he had actually murdered somebody, he felt physically sick and was distraught mentally that he had actually gone through with it. Although he had fantasized about it for many years. He had thought about it and planned it out and acted it out in his mind. And that is where it starts. That is where it all starts. The devil knows what your temptation is and what mine is and what the next person's is. He knows exactly what would be tempting to you. And the Bible actually talks about that, how sin is born. It's born from our lust. When you think about something and you dwell on it, that is the starting gate. That's where it all starts. If you're dwelling on something for many years, you are weighing options, essentially. If you know it's wrong, but you're dwelling on it anyway, kind of like Jeffrey Dahmer was, you know, maybe somebody else's dwelling thoughts aren't the same as Jeffrey Dahmer's. That's extreme. But no matter what it is, if it's wrong according to the Bible, and they know that it's wrong, and they allow themselves to dwell on it and think about it anyway, or act it out. Maybe they're acting something out and doing something that they know is against the Bible. The more you do it, you become desensitized to it. Just like that interview with Jeffrey Dahmer, he said after so many times of doing it, it was like nothing to him. He didn't feel anything anymore. It didn't matter. It didn't bother him to do that because he had done it so many times now. That's what the sin is like. That is what a reprobate is. When you know the truth, you know what's right, and you completely ignore it and step over those bounds multiple times and talk yourself into it's okay, pretty soon you believe it's okay. So a reprobate actually believes they've essentially either rejected God completely or they've created a God in their own mind who looks like them. Maybe not in physical looks, but mentally, I like this and God likes this. I'm okay with that and I know God's okay with that. How many times have you heard somebody say that? My God is love and he's okay with this. My God is okay with that. I've heard lots of people say that. And that's what that is. They've convinced themselves that it's okay. And your conscience is seared. So you don't even recognize, you're numb to the truth. You've lost the ability to be teachable. They've convinced themselves that they are beyond that they've got it figured out and their way is best. And yeah, so let's go ahead and look at some of the video and we'll talk about it a little bit more. Okay, I'm just showing you a couple of artists that like to use biblical or godly things to twist it to make it evil. And this is what gets stuck in our youth's mind. This is how those things that we were talking about earlier, this is how it gets into the mind for them to think about, to dwell on. You know, taking from the Garden of Eden here and turning it into something sickening, really. Obviously going to hell here and seducing the devil and even killing the devil and taking the devil's place. I don't know who thinks these things up, but it's inventing evil things. This mindset is the perfect example of everything that we just talked about. Every symptom is seen in this type of person. And honestly, this is all normal. This is entertainment for today's society. This is another artist, a young woman who has millions and millions of followers. And this is a song about all good girls go to hell. And you can see the lyrics here. I would suggest pausing it and so you can actually read the lyrics. It is astounding that someone would even come up with these things. There is no way that anyone could convince me that these people are not actively worshiping the devil. And Beyonce, It goes without saying, she has admitted that she is possessed, and you can see it here. You can see it on her face, and that's with the video slowed down. She claims to have an alter ego called Sasha Fierce. Well, there wasn't actually a person named Sasha Fierce. I know this for a fact because I used to be a practicing witch. And Sasha Fierce was a male who wrote the Book of Shadows. And yes, there is an actual Book of Shadows. It is a book of spells, both white and black magic. And if you notice, she did give the triangle symbol. That is a satanic symbol. Do what thou wilt. That is in the Satanic Bible. It's do whatever you want. You can see it on her husband's shirt here. And if you listen, you can hear what he says for himself.
By the spirits. I get possessed by the spirits.
Okay, so she's also wearing the Baphomet, which is the satanic symbol of the goat, in her jewelry. Okay, here we have Celine Dion's children's clothing line. I'm just blown away at that this was even in production, that it's out there. Obviously, Celine Dion is telling the world that she is a Satanist and actively worshiping the devil. And this is what is presented to children now. It's being indoctrinated into their impressionable minds that this is acceptable. And it clearly shows a society that is debased. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. If I have forgotten anything, leave it in the comments below. So you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye for now.